Hello. I do believe that we are on live, and we are just waiting for our guest to join us. So lovely to see you. My name is Angela, as you're probably aware. And then we have Meena. I'm joined by Meena Patel. Can you hear me all right, Meena?
Yes, I can.
Oh,
Hi.
good. I can hear you too. That's great. So welcome, everybody. We're going to be live for the next 15-20 minutes. And as I say, as it says there, this is the YBMB show, as we're calling it. I'm talking to you from West London, and I'm joined by the lovely Meena Patel, who also, I think, on the outskirts of London. Meena, is that right?
Yeah, I'm based in Colchester, Essex.
Yeah. And we are going to talk today about journaling and just sort of see where that conversation goes. And I asked Meena to join me because Meena has completed a full season of YBMB. In fact, sort of, nearly 2 seasons now. And we got to know each other in the summer. And we did a lot of work on body, first of all, transforming body. And if any of you have followed any of the work that I've done in the last few months, you'll see that Meena got an amazing result with her body. And like I always say, when you can see very quickly the results of the work that you do on your body, but what you can't see is what goes on in your mind. But what we've done in the program is that we've then built on that mind work as well, and part of that is journaling. So I wanted to just do a quick intro on journaling today, and then we'll get Meena's sort of input as to sort of how that's worked for her. Because Meena, what you said is that you've done quite a lot of visioning work in the past, but you've not really done journaling before.
That's correct. I've read about journaling, but never done it. So on the program was the first time I actually started journaling and really experienced the power of it.
And I think it's quite interesting, really, because when people say sort of what is journaling, I mean, it can be anything from sort of informal doodling, just writing down your thoughts, through to something a bit more structured, as we've been doing. But when I think about my own journaling, I mean, I've been writing goals, which I didn't call them goals at the time. I used to call them sort of wishes and hopes. And I've been doing that since 1987. In fact, I've still got them written down, every year, what my objectives were since 1987. And they became more sort of developed as I went along. But I used to only do them annually. It was sort of part of a New Year's sort of resolutions type thing. And so I wouldn't necessarily call that journaling, but it is where I started writing my thoughts. And as the years have gone on, and I've learned a lot more about how to sort of make your vision a reality, I've realized that what you actually write down can really help you with your focus. Because as we've learned with a lot of the work we've done on this program, there are sort of 3 aspects to making a vision a reality. There is, you start off with your goals that you think that you have, and then how do you achieve those? And so many people just jump into strategy. They think, okay, so I want to build a business, so let me get a great business strategies, or I want to build a great body, so let me go and find out all the things, let me Google all the things to do with body. And that strategy, most of us become quite good at strategy, if we're sort of hard workers and we've got a bit of experience behind us. But there's 2 essential things that are missing from that. One is physiology and your body language, and how you treat your body and how physically strong you are. But there's this other bit, which is really where journaling comes in, I think, and it is the story you have about yourself, the story that you create about the future, and the language that you use. And the more that you use language, that can really dictate your focus. So when we very first started the mind part of YBMB, one of the things that I sort of introduced to everybody was a morning routine, which consisted of visioning and journaling. So Meena, tell us a little bit about how that was for you, what you've been doing before, what you started doing, and how how it changed really, the way that you operated.
So when I joined the program, I must say, Angela, I was very inspired by your transformation, and so I was going to follow your blueprint. So I started off in the mornings with the journaling. I started off with the gratitude, just being grateful for everything. I think I've had the worst year of my life, and I was just looking for all the grateful things. So I started with that. There were times when I was really low and actually journaled on the pain that I was feeling, and I think that's also been really helpful, because I don't feel so angry, I don't feel so hurt, and I think it was a way of releasing. And not, because I've heard as well, the more you can be hurt and pain, and if you keep burying that pain, it can come out in ailments in other ways in your body. And I've heard that so many
Absolutely.
times.
And I
So
think and I think just on that point on gratitude, isn't it amazing? Where, because we discussed this, didn't we, that sometimes when you can be going through really dark moments and things that are really hard to deal with, you know, just trying to find something that you're grateful for can really shift your mindset. You know that, and we always said to start journaling with that. I even remember the day my dad passed away, and I shared this with you that you know, I remember on that day coming back and thinking, right, okay, what am I grateful for? Because that was part of my routine, and obviously really struggling that day, because you sort of most of you feels like I'm not grateful, you know, because he's been taken away. But it made me then start to think about the things about him that I was grateful for, and that really changed my mindset and really helped me with my grief, you know, for many months after that. I mean, with your gratitude process, how what's have you got any examples of how that really helped you?
sorry, you cut out there a little bit, but I
Yeah,
think
when you were doing your sort of gratitude part, because obviously we always start with the gratitude in the journaling, don't we? Have you got any examples of how that really sort of shifted your mindset?
so when I was kind of really low, first of all, I started with just what am I grateful for? You know, I have an amazing family
Yeah,
who were really there for me, and just being grateful for them and being grateful for what I actually do have, and not focusing on what I don't have. So that was really powerful. And
yeah,
then I think just journaling on the pain, that was also releasing, and I don't feel so angry or hurt anymore. And then I would kind of move on to what's my vision, and being really clear on, you know, what is it that I wanted? What is it that I wanted out of this program? What did I want to look like after the 12 weeks? And what was so powerful there is, you know, because a lot of the times you can say, well, I actually want to be a size 10, or I want to be this weight. And it's okay when you start in the morning, but during the day you get busy, you get stressed, and the biscuits come out, or, you know, and
yeah,
because I'd kind of written it down and done the visualization, even if you do reach out, you're like, well, no, actually something just stops you, you know, reaching out for that biscuit. No, you know, I need to stick to my macros. That you've kind of taught us. And that, I think that was really powerful.
yeah. I mean, I think as well, one of the things, just going back to because I know you've had some amazing experiences with your visualization as well. And it's quite interesting because we'll have a talk about that in a minute, about some of the things that have already happened because you've written them down. But one of the things that I did want to say was with the gratitude and sort of, you know, thinking about painful times that we've been through as well, shifting again the language to say, well, what did I actually learn from that? What did I, you know, what might this mean? What might it mean for me going forward? What have I learned from that experience? That can be very therapeutic and very helpful to set you on the right path before you actually then start your visioning, can't it?
Absolutely. That
Because
was,
you learn things about yourself, and I think we're all a lot more resilient than we ever think we would be, and we don't realise that very often until we've got real adversity, do we?
no, and I think I've had some, you know, from my own son, my 17-year-old son, saying, Mum, you know, there were times where, you know, you didn't even need to get out of bed, but you didn't. You got out, you did your steps, you drank your water, you know, you did your routine that you know, that you set out to do as per your program. So I think you came into my life at the perfect time. Really did help me transform.
But it was all your own hard work as well, you know, and you did all of that, you know, sort of, I suppose, learning and recognition of, you know, what could happen in the future for you, and actually that some of these things could be an opportunity for you, and you just sort of really followed all the steps and ended up, you know, changing really mentally as well as physically, for sure. And I think part of this was affirmations as well, because it wasn't just about, you know, what have I learned, but it was about reassuring yourself, and this is again one of the things that we can do as part of journaling, is the affirmations, reassuring ourselves that we are already what we're hoping to be. Very often we're hoping to be something, so we're hoping to be strong, we're hoping, I don't know, to run our own business, or we're hoping to be a size 10, or we're hoping to be a better parent. And by actually writing these things in our journal, I am a great mother, I am a strong businesswoman, I do have a fit and strong and healthy body. By writing those things, it sort of really helps you to then jump up and make them true, doesn't it?
Well, for me, I was writing, I wanted to be, I think, I wanted to be pain-free. I'd got up, for 2 years with the pain in my back, and I've been on blood pressure tablets for 10 years and just wanted to be free of tablets, wanting to be pain-free, and just actually writing that, that I am strong and I can get through this time. And I feel, I did. I am no longer on tablets. I don't wake up in pain every morning, which is huge.
And it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, they do. I've heard that line, what you write, you invite, which I think is a brilliant line. And that's why I always think, for journaling, by all means, talk through the pain, but really in the context of, well, what can I learn? What have I learned about myself? What might this mean? How could this be an opportunity for others? And I think, so I always think, starting off with gratitude is brilliant. And then going on to, not ignoring the painful moments, because we wouldn't learn anything from it. But then after being through that, what could this mean? And, what have I learned? Then saying, right, okay, so what really is the truth? What is the truth? Because, when we do our journaling, we have an opportunity to create absolutely our own story. And those of you who've sort of studied any of this theory of, the concept of language, is that, you will have facts in one corner, and then you will have the story that we make up about the facts. And the facts might be, I weigh a certain amount, or my business is not where I want it to be, or my personal life is not where I want it to be, or whatever it is. But then the story is something we make up, and the story could be a negative story that we often all walk around with, which is, that's because that's my fault, or there's something I can't achieve, and that's a negative story. Or through journaling, we can create a really empowering story, one that says, yeah, but that may be the case, but I am now doing this, this, and this, and I am strong, and I can do this, and I can do that. And so the beauty, I think, of journaling, one of them, is that, through that journaling, we can create a really empowering story that then we can follow through.
One of the other examples of journaling that I'd like to share is, yes, I am new to journaling, and you have to be, like you said, the power of the words that you use. And I've been journaling, I want to create beautiful experiences, because I come from a user experience background. Yeah. And so I think in my head, I was, thinking of beautiful holidays and beautiful experiences. And this is where I think I reached out to you and said, are you looking for anyone to organise your retreats?
Yeah.
And that was just on the back of a note that you sent out on Facebook with somebody in your team leaving. And so
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about that, because so often, I mean, you've got another couple of examples of that as well, where you write things down and in your journal, because now so like I said, I think there are sections of it. There are, what am I grateful for? What challenges am I going through at the moment? What have I learned through those challenges? What can I learn about myself? What is the real truth? So what am I? I am a great mother. I am a strong woman. I am an independent business person. I am a leader, or whatever it is that we say. And then we move on to, okay, so what is my vision? And what are my goals? And what might I be able to achieve? And that's when, we can go to town with really documenting it in detail. And we've talked, haven't we, about, the power of manifestation and the power of attraction. That I do think that when you get then into the realms of, creating your vision and you write it down, the process of writing down does something to us that we don't quite understand. It puts us on a wavelength or in an energy field, I've heard it described, where we can start to attract these things to us. And I've heard about the reticular activating system, where, this is this sort of primitive part of our brain, which is that thing that notices what you're thinking about. So, you know, the red car syndrome, you think about red cars, you see red cars everywhere, but in the same way, it can be so positive for you, because if you think about, for example, you creating beautiful experiences, suddenly you end up starting to create beautiful experiences. If you start envisaging, you know, being in a particular location, driving a particular car, working with particular types of people, as I did, I had in my vision working with professional, empowered women and helping them to really fulfill their potential. And then suddenly I find myself doing exactly that. Now, it can't be coincidence. It's got to be some sort of form of a combination, I think, of manifestation, but also you get what you focus on.
I totally agree with that, because for me, I have a love for houses, and we spent a year in Australia where there's so much land and everyone has a huge house. And so when I came back and I was like, okay, if money was no object, what would I want? And being a project manager, I always wanted a project. Yeah. And I always kind of envisioned having this house with a vaulted ceiling where you have a balcony overlooking the dining room. And that's pretty much what I was able to then
oh my goodness
create. And I'd lost the piece of paper that I'd sort of written it down on, and I'd sort of said I wanted a large master bedroom, because all the houses that I saw, either you have a big upstairs and tiny downstairs, or or the other way around. And I wanted my son to be able to walk to school, my husband to walk to work, and I'd put all this down on a mind map, lost it, and then found it. And then one day I went through it and it was like tick, tick, tick. And so I definitely think there is something very, very powerful there.
Absolutely. And I think as well that, you know, this happened, how brilliant it is that you notice it as well, because there is that cycle, isn't there? And this applies to whether you want to change your body, whether you want to change your business, change your mindset. First of all, it is being very, very explicit about what you want, because by you talking about the vaulted ceiling, because you could have just said, I want a big house, you know, and then any big house would have popped along and it might not have had all the things you wanted. But by getting that specific, then you know, your mind starts, like I said, you start to really focus on it. So that's the first thing, is to be very, very specific. And then you notice, and it could be specific in any particular, it might not be as a bigger thing as a house. It could even be like, you know, how you want your hair to look, or, you know, the outfits you want to wear or something. And then you write this down, then you notice when it starts to materialize. And because it starts to materialize, you sort of believe it a bit more. And so then you believe it a bit more that this stuff works. And so then you do it a bit more and you become even more specific. And so without getting too woo-woo about it, you can really make your dreams come true through journaling, not tomorrow necessarily, but through a constant process. And we talk about a very consistent process as well. So we talk about a morning routine. And I wanted to ask you about that and how you've developed your morning routine, you know, especially through being on the program, and where journaling's fitted in with that.
So I've started to wake up a lot earlier than I was doing. And is
that hard?
Initially it was hard, but it's, you know, just keep at it. But I realized I can't burn the candle at both ends. So I either start early or I you know, and go to bed early.
Yes.
And so, you know, I actually just wrote down the steps that you'd given. You know, drink your half a liter of water with your lemon. Do your visioning, your gratitude visioning, your affirmations. Then I would, you know, just try and plan my macros. The other thing I use journaling for is actually planning, just kind of getting things down. And I think that's kind of helped as well. It just gives clarity to the day as well.
Because it doesn't need to be, I want a big house or I want this car,
no,
like holiday. Be as well as things.
It could be the day as well. So I've used it on my day. How do I want my day to turn out? Or if I've got something specific going on, I'd think about how do I want the end experience to be, and kind of really use all the senses to go with it.
Yes.
You know, how do I want to feel? How do I want others to feel? How do and it's about getting as clear as possible when you're writing down. And then you forget about it, and then sometimes you go back and you're like, wow, like the one about the creating experiences. It was only when I flicked through the journal that I had to even realize that I was writing that, which was really...
Well, because we forget, because we feel so differently on a day-to-day basis, don't we? And I mean, I have literally so many journals. I mean, I'll just sort of show you quickly here because it's leaning on I've got a box here with all my journals. I don't know if you can see all those journals in there, because I like to, they're very symbolic to me, journals are. So these two here are journals that I used throughout this year. And one of them I actually bought for my dad when he was not well. So it's a sort of an end of day gratitude journal, and this is the day one. But these ones I associate very much with lockdown, with the whole lockdown year, because they've got so much in there about, you know, what was happening and what I was thinking and how I would like things to go. And obviously it's been a transitional year for all of us. But I think that your journals can be very, very symbolic, can't they, as well? You know, you need to, for me anyway, you want to sort of be able to feel them, touch them, and they need to be quite special, I think. And, you know, I've got gold ones, blue ones, black ones, all sorts, and I can look at them and know exactly what year they relate to. Have you got any specifics that you write in or anything like that?
I guess in terms of the gratitude, I had bought that, the secret gratitude journal that you get.
Yeah.
I bought it years ago, but never did anything. So this was really the first time I actually really was very consistent. I started but stopped and whatever. But as part of the program, you know, I consistently, that was the first thing I was doing. In terms of journaling, like I said, I was quite new to journaling, so I kind of went with a book that feels nice to write in. So it's all made out of recyclable paper and actually feels really nice to write in. So that was quite important, and I enjoy writing in it. So
and what I find as well with journaling is that, you know, it can be as long as you want it to be. It doesn't have to be, oh, I must write for half an hour, or, you know, because sometimes it can be a quick 5 minutes. Sometimes you might go on because you want to add some more and more. And certainly for me, and sometimes you just repeat it. I mean, I sometimes, because I do mine in my morning routine, and then I do the gratitude one at night. But for me, sometimes it's just a repetition of some affirmations. I am this, I am that, I am the other. You know, it's all about positive stuff. And other times, like you, I might basically dwell on a situation and think about, you know, what could this really mean? What would be the next best step? What resources do I have to address this? And, you know, what can I learn from this? Because especially this year, but then, you know, I think there are challenges any year. You know, economies go up and down, and things happen in our life, don't they, with our loved ones and things like that. And you never know what's around the corner. And I think that journaling is just one of the many tools that we can have in our sort of arsenal to make us as strong and resilient and resourceful as we possibly can, so that regardless of what goes on, we are as well equipped as possible to deal with it. So you've got the lovely part of journaling, which is the exciting thing of, you know, identifying what it is that you could create and build. But you've also got that other part of it, which just keeps you strong and resilient, I think.
And it's a bit of free time for yourself as well, where you can just, you know, kind of, it's me time.
Yeah, completely. And I think it's so useful to be able to get all the things that are in your mind and just get them and sort of put them down somewhere else.
Absolutely. I think that's really, really powerful, because it gives you time to then, gives you space in your head.
Yeah.
Just for the day.
And also as well, if you've got to make a decision about something, I always also find it's very useful, because firstly, sometimes I don't know about you, but I find, right, shall I do this or shall I do that? And the first thing I always think is, well, hang on a minute, it might be more than two options. There could be a third and fourth and fifth. So let me write those down. And then the next thing is that I think, okay, if I'm going to make a decision between these things, what are my criteria? Because by going around in my head, you know, maybe I'm thinking, oh, well, I prefer to do this because of that. Well, the because of is one of the criteria that clearly I've not articulated, but is an important criteria. So then I write the criteria down. And I always think making really important decisions, it's great to do that in your journal as well, because you get it out of your head, you get it on paper, and you stop second guessing yourself, because you see quite clearly what a good decision is, or, you know, according to your own criteria, of course.
I would use that now for decision making, because I haven't really used it for decision making, but that sounds really,
it's really good. Yeah. Well, anything else you want to add on journaling today? I know you said that you've been experienced with visaging. Obviously, you're sitting in that beautiful house with a vaulted ceiling, and you know, so it's got me thinking about, you know, my next move and to be a bit more specific. But anything else that you wanted to add about journaling or visioning before we? It's actually nearly half an hour I've been talking already, so it goes quick, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Well, I guess on the program, and what I did really, really enjoy was the future life planning that we did, where we did where a consultant came in and kind of, it was like a meditation, and it was about being open. She put us all at ease, and she was like, just go with it, I'm going to talk you through it. And it was amazing in terms of how, I think, because I have been visioning and for some time, I think I was really open to it. And I think I shared my story with you, which was very clear in terms of, she was telling us to be in a location where, I hadn't even heard of the name that could come up. And but I think
something happened where we're both going to be in that location now.
Yeah,
so
you're both going to be in that location.
We're not going to give it away yet, but that is again, it was a really amazing thing, that wasn't it?
It was a really really powerful, and I'm going to continue envisioning that, because I hope it comes true.
Well, I'm sure it will. If everybody who's listening to this today, and there were a number of people signed up to come on live, and they'll listen to the replay as well, if anybody wants to learn more about journaling, then we will cover it as part of an overview of the YBMB program on Sunday. I'm doing a webinar. I think it's at 4 o'clock, but there'll be a link here. Anyone who's listening, if you want to join the webinar on Sunday, and I will give you a complete overview of the things that we cover in YBMB. I mean, Meena was just so brilliant on the program, because she was one of those truly coachable people that it's just been a delight really to work with. And that's what I really love about this program. I'm so passionate about it, because it's, I feel that, we become friends because they get to know me, and I get to know you as well. And then, and we can talk about this stuff. We could, as you can see, Meena and I could probably chat about this for another 2 hours. We probably will. So if you want to hear about, more of this, this content really, and how we help to people to transform not just their body, but their mindset and their careers and their business as well, come on Sunday, you listen to the webinar. And then if you want to become part of the YBMB team and join our winter season, then you can do. And were you going to add something, Meena?
Just to add to that, I think the beauty of the program is it's not just about weight loss, that whole mindset piece, as well as your business. That's, for me, what was really good. It was the full package. And I think that's what's unique about it.
Yeah. Because it's interesting, isn't it, that we, people look and they say, oh, wow, Meena, you look incredible. You've lost this weight and you look, all glowy and everything. But what they can't see is the much more important thing, which is what goes on in the inside.
Yeah, I haven't been this weight since my 20s.
Yeah. But you said as well that people were saying to you about how just amazing you're coming across now, how confident and positive, really.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a great change for me. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thanks for joining me. Love talking to you as always. And we'll catch up soon.
Definitely. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.